everyone, it's Plant Size here, and thank you so much for clicking on my link to watch my video. Today I'll be discussing a little bit about what I learned from the Food Revolution Summit. But before I get into that, I want to tell you a little bit about me. So my name is Rosa, and I am a recent Virginia Tech graduate with a BS in Human Nutrition, Foods, and Exercise with a concentration in dietetics. I've been vegan for about 5 years and whole foods plant-based for about 1 year or so. The difference is that a whole foods plant-based diet focuses on eating whole, minimally processed foods and avoids or limits animal products. It focuses on eating vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds, herbs, and spices. I wanted to make this video because I was really moved by what I learned from the Food Revolution Summit. And I am going to be reading a little bit off my notes because there's just so much information that I haven't ingrained in my brain yet. Okay, so to begin, it was an online 9-day summit where I learned about the most up-to-date research and information about food, nutrition, disease prevention, immune health, and environmental stewardship. For about 3.5 hours each day, 3 guest speakers were personally interviewed by the best-selling author John Robbins and his son Ocean Robbins. All speakers are trusted authorities such as medical doctors. There was a dietitian and plant-based advocates. This summit taught me so much, and it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. So much so that I found myself getting goosebumps at times, and I even cried because of the personal stories I heard from their patients, family, or friends. This summit has re-sparked my devotion to plant-based nutrition. In the past, and still to this day, I feel so much ambivalence because in school I'm taught one thing, but at the same time, what I learn on my own is so radically different. There seems to be a disconnect between what I'm taught in school and what I've been learning in these conferences. But I realize that, you know what, there's no time to be a little bit afraid to stand up for what I believe in. There were times where I could have stepped up and said something during lectures, but because I didn't want to have the pressure on me, and because I'm a bit shy, to be honest, I didn't. And on top of that, who wants to say something at 8 o'clock in the morning when you're running off of 4.5, 5 hours of sleep? I sure didn't. So throughout this pandemic, I've learned so much about myself, and I've grown so much, and the summit just really helped me understand my body a little bit more better. Okay, so what exactly did I learn from the summit? Well, I learned a lot in the summit. Though I had an idea of it, I learned that our healthcare system isn't about health, it's about sick care. We have a sickness industry where we manage disease, but we don't emphasize prevention. Medical doctors have about 4 hours of nutrition education in med school. As Dr. Saray Stantic stated in the summit, hopefully I'm getting her name right, our medical education model is based on pathogenesis. They collect bits of info, evidence, and clues to make a diagnosis. Doctors look through a patient's history, physical exam, blood work, and sometimes imaging studies. Once they get the diagnosis, they create a treatment plan, which is a pharmaceutical agent, procedure, or surgical intervention. What's missing is salutogenesis. And that's how do we maintain health and well-being. They don't learn that in school. So it's not their fault, it's the system that they were trained in. But did you know that what we put in our mouths prevents the progression of diseases and can even reverse certain diseases? This reminds me of a quote you may or may not have heard by Heather Morgan, and it's that every time you eat or drink, you're either feeding disease or fighting it. Marco Borges, I hope I said his name right, an exercise physiologist and creator of the 22-day revolution, said it perfectly. He says, disease reversal starts with one meal. Taking control of your health starts with one action. And when you really believe, when you really understand, when you truly understand the power that you hold, you yourself hold over your health, everything changes. I personally believe our healthcare system should focus on health/lifestyle medicine, which is based on nutrition, exercise, stress management, and sleep. Don't get me wrong though, I think it's incredible that we know how to manage these diseases, but we should be emphasizing how to prevent them from occurring in the first place, right? I mean, that's what makes the most sense to me. So, there's an enormous amount of scientific literature that tells us that our diet and lifestyle choices can influence our body's response to illness. Staying healthy during this pandemic is so important right now. Although there hasn't been a lot of research on the foods and nutrients that are helpful with COVID-19, it is still a good idea to consume foods and nutrients that are helpful and good for your immune system. The strength of our immune system decreases as we age, so it's especially important to eat more immune-supporting foods. Scientific literature states that nutritional deficiencies cause impaired immune function in the elderly. Okay, so what are the foods that we should be eating every single day? Well, according to Joelle Furman, a guest speaker in the summit, we should be eating Gbombs, which is an acronym for greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. So, what specific greens do you think? Well, it's spinach, kale, mustard greens, collard greens, broccoli, bok choy, and Brussels sprouts. And this is because green vegetables are rich in folate, calcium, and antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin. Folate is important for producing antibodies that destroy antigens that can make you sick. Don't like green vegetables? You can mash their flavor in smoothies, saute, steam, or roast them, or you can use them in the base of salads. What I typically like to do is add them to my pasta sauce, make a smoothie with them, or sprinkle them with pretty much any dish. Okay, so next, beans. Beans, peas, and lentils are full of fiber and resistant starch, which are carbohydrates that are not broken down by digestive enzymes. The properties in beans can help enhance your gut microbiome, which is especially important for your digestive system. You can add beans to really any dish. You can turn them into a burger, toss them in spaghetti sauce, put them in salads, soups, or stews. Now you can even put them in smoothies. That sounds really weird, but yeah, I went there. You can use navy beans in smoothies and you can't even taste them. You can even use frozen cauliflower to give a really creamy consistency. And again, it sounds gross, but when you mix them with other ingredients, you cannot taste them, and that's what's so great. I mean, I see people making avocado brownies and zucchini bread, zucchini brownies. Like, you can add them in there and you won't taste it, I promise. Okay, so O. The O stands for onions. Onions are part of the allium family and include shallots, garlic, scallions, leeks, and chives. They're rich in organosulfur compounds, which have major benefits for immunity. These compounds are released when alliums are chopped or crushed. Onions contain quercetin that may have powerful bacteria-fighting abilities, as well as prebiotic fiber that feeds only the beneficial bacteria in our large intestine. So onions and garlic are great to use for sauteing, adding them to stir fries, soups, burritos, and sauces. I mean, I feel like onions and garlic are the base of almost every dish. Okay, so the M stands for mushrooms. Consuming mushrooms regularly is associated with decreased risk of breast, stomach, and colorectal cancers. White cremini, portobello, oyster, shiitake, maitake, and reishi mushrooms all have anti-cancer properties. Some are anti-inflammatory. They stimulate the immune system, prevent DNA damage, slow cancer cell growth, and cause programmed cancer cell death and inhibit angiogenesis. Mushrooms may increase an important immune balancing compound called secretory IgA. Mushrooms should be cooked because they all contain a potentially carcinogenic compound called arginine. Mushrooms taste great on warm sandwiches, salads, pizza. Again, you can throw them in pasta sauce and soups. And you can even make fried chicken out of oyster mushrooms and use mushrooms as a base for burgers. So mushrooms are super versatile. And now berries. Berries are rich in antioxidants, as you may or may not know, including flavonoids and antioxidant vitamins. The main antioxidant compound in blueberries is called, and please forgive my pronunciation, pterostilbene. Yeah, I butchered that, but look it up. Which has been studied for its ability to lower inflammation and fight disease. You can eat berries raw, add them to smoothies, make a jam out of them, mix them in your oatmeal and your yogurt, and add them to pancakes and waffles. I mean, there's just so much you can do with berries. Okay, now lastly, seeds. Seeds and nuts like chia, flax, walnuts, almonds are rich in disease-preventing nutrients like fiber, healthy omega-3 fats, and micronutrients like vitamin E, iron, zinc, and calcium. Zinc, especially high in pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and hemp seeds, is a particularly potent nutrient that supports immunity, so much so that it's called a gatekeeper of immune function. You can turn them into nut butters, enjoy them as trail mix, turn them into cheese. Yes, cheese, you can do that. It's insane. You can add them to smoothies, salads, stir fries, and sprinkle some on avocado toast. And chia seeds can be turned into a delicious pudding. Different nuts and seeds can even be thrown into a sauce to make into pesto. I mean, there's just really so much you can do. You can use nuts as a base of Whole Foods plant-based dessert. Like you mix nuts with dates, with some spices like cinnamon, a little bit of sweetener like maple syrup or agave. There's literally so much you can do. You can also check out my Instagram at PlantSize to see what I do with all of these ingredients because, again, I try to eat these almost every day, as you should. Okay, so to recap on what I said, you should be eating Gbombs: greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds, as well as nuts. So I hope you learned something from me today. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below, and I hope you guys start to incorporate these foods into your life every single day. They're so incredibly important for your health, and there's just tons of evidence and research out there that proves that these foods are really beneficial for you and your gut microbiome and just your life in general. So I really hope you guys take into consideration what I told you. Please check out my Instagram at PlantSize for recipes and meal inspiration. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.